In the remote heart of the Appalachian Mountains, nestled beneath a shroud of dense fog and an ancient canopy of trees, lay a forest feared by all who knew of its existence. This was no ordinary forest. It was known far and wide as the Cursed Forest, a place where the whispers of the damned echoed through the trees and the very air seemed tainted by malevolence. Few in the nearby town of Willowbrook dared to utter its name, let alone venture within its dark embrace. Yet, as all legends do, tales of the cursed woods reached the ears of four individuals: Ava, Ethan, Olivia, and Jacob. Youthful and adventurous, they scoffed at the local superstitions and believed themselves impervious to the ancient forest's ominous reputation. One autumn morning, with the leaves painting the landscape in shades of crimson and gold, the four friends embarked on a journey into the heart of the cursed woods. Armed with camping gear, flashlights, and a sense of youthful invincibility, they ventured deeper into the forest, determined to uncover the mysteries that lay within. The forest greeted them with an eerie hush, as though it held its breath in anticipation of their intrusion. The trees stood tall and gnarled, their twisted branches casting eerie silhouettes against the dimming sky. Unease settled upon the group, but they masked their fear with laughter and jests. As the day turned to dusk, their laughter waned, replaced by an unsettling silence. Strange sounds emanated from the underbrush, whispers that seemed to defy the wind, and the rustling of leaves that hinted at unseen creatures lurking nearby. Ethan's flashlight flickered inexplicably, casting eerie shadows that danced and swayed in the dark. The group found a small clearing where they set up camp. Olivia tried to ignite a fire, but the flames resisted, snapping and writhing as if they had a life of their own. Jacob's compass spun aimlessly, refusing to point in any direction. It was as though the very essence of the forest rebelled against their presence. As night descended, the forest seemed to come alive. Ava couldn't shake the feeling of unseen eyes upon her, and she whispered her unease to Ethan, whose normally jovial demeanor had been replaced by a tense watchfulness. They huddled closer around the flickering fire, their unease growing with each passing minute. In the depths of the night, a haunting melody drifted through the trees. It was a mournful tune, carried on a chilling breeze, and it sent shivers down their spines. Unable to resist its eerie allure, they followed the sound deeper into the forest, where the darkness seemed to swallow them whole. As the first light of dawn broke, they came upon an ancient, gnarled tree standing alone in a small clearing. Its twisted branches reached out like skeletal fingers, and at its base lay a circle of stones, arranged with an eerie precision. At the center of the circle sat a weathered tome, its pages filled with cryptic symbols and indescribable text. Intrigued and unnerved, Jacob reached out to touch the book. As his fingers made contact with the aged pages, a wave of malevolence surged through the forest. The trees trembled, the ground quaked, and the wind howled with fury. Ava, Ethan, and Olivia screamed, their voices drowned out by the forest's violent rage. Jacob's eyes glazed over as he began to recite the ancient text from the tome. The words flowed from his lips in a language long forgotten, each syllable heavy with dark power. He seemed possessed, a vessel for a force beyond their comprehension. The ground beneath them cracked open, revealing a chasm of impenetrable darkness. From its depths emerged grotesque, shadowy figures, their forms shifting and contorting. It was as if the very soul of the forest had taken shape to confront the intruders. Ava, Ethan, and Olivia tried to flee, but an invisible force held them in place. They could only watch in horror as Jacob continued his incantation, the forest's fury intensifying with each passing moment. The shadowy figures drew closer, their fingers reaching out like tendrils of darkness. Just as the figures were about to seize their helpless prey, a blinding light erupted from the sky, piercing through the forest's darkness. The figures recoiled in agony, their unearthly wails piercing the air. Jacob's grip on the tome faltered, and the ancient book burst into flames, reduced to ash in an instant. With a final, deafening roar, the forest seemed to consume itself in a maelstrom of fury. The chasm closed, and the shadowy figures dissolved into nothingness. Jacob collapsed to the ground, unconscious and drained of energy. The forest, once malevolent and foreboding, had been vanquished by a force beyond human comprehension. Eva, Ethan, and Olivia were released from their invisible bonds, trembling with fear and awe. They wasted no time in gathering Jacob and fleeing the accursed woods. As they emerged into the light of day, the forest behind them seemed tranquil, as though the malevolence had never existed. The group vowed never to return to the cursed woods, for they had glimpsed a darkness beyond comprehension, a darkness that had tested the limits of their courage and their very existence. To this day, they carry the memory of that night, haunted by the eerie melodies, the shadowy figures, and the malevolent force that dwells within the heart of the cursed forest, a force that had been awakened but had, for now, been returned to its slumber. And though they had escaped with their lives, they could never escape the knowledge that the ancient woods held secrets and malevolence that defied all reason and understanding.